While ringing up a luxury shopper, she waved me off and said, "I'm too important to pay taxes, remove them." When I explained that wasn't possible, she tossed a stack of cash and smirked, "Take this and make it happen." My supervisor stepped forward, picked up the money, and said, "Perfect, this will cover your trespassing fine." I work the luxury watch and jewelry counter at an upscale department store in Naples, Florida. If you've never been, it's one of those stores that smells like leather and money the moment you walk in. The kind of place where women bring tiny dogs in diamond-studded collars and ask if we can gift wrap a Rolex. I've worked here going on 5 years. Most days are slow, smooth. Rich people don't rush. They stroll in late, sip the complimentary espresso, and spend an hour trying on watches or earrings before buying something just to feel something. I've dealt with my share of egos. Lawyers, ex-football players, widows who throw tantrums over smudged glass cases. But none of them, not a single one, came close to the woman who walked in that Tuesday. I was on register too, watching the floor. My coworker, Jamie, had just taken her break, and Daniel, our floor supervisor, was doing inventory in the back. That left me to cover the front solo for a bit. At 2:08 p.m., I remember the time exactly she walked in. You ever see someone who moves like they've never heard the word no in their life? That was her. Tall, designer everything. Chanel heels, red bottoms. Sunglasses still on inside. Platinum blonde hair swept up like she was heading to a gala. She looked like every Real Housewife rolled into one person. She didn't look at me. Just headed straight to the Rolex and Tag Heuer cases like she'd done this 100 times before. I greeted her. "Welcome. Let me know if I can assist you with anything." No response. Not even a glance. Just one finger raised and pointed at the case as if I were a bellhop. I put on my smile. The one I use when I'm being disrespected but still on the clock, and walked over. "Is there a specific model you'd like to see?" Still silent. She just tapped the glass above a platinum Tag Heuer with a mother-of-pearl dial. Price tag, $13,975. I unlocked the case and gently took the watch out, laying it on a velvet pad. She picked it up, looked it over for less than 10 seconds, and said, "I'll take it." Just like that. No questions. No hesitation. I led her to the register. "Great choice. I'll just need to get some quick details, and I can ring this up for you." I scanned the barcode. The screen beeped as the total loaded. Then I pulled out the tax disclosure and receipt. That's when she said it. "I don't pay tax. Remove it." I blinked. "Excuse me." I said remove the tax, she repeated, this time more forcefully. "I'm not paying tax on this. My accountant takes care of it." I paused, trying to process what she just said. "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but Florida state sales tax is 6%. It's automatic. I can't remove it." Her lip curled. She laughed once, like I had just said something adorable. "I'm not asking. I'm telling you. Remove it. I don't pay tax. I'm a business owner. I'll write it off. You just need to not charge me for it." I took a breath. I can't do that. The system won't allow me to remove taxes unless there's a government-exempt certificate, and even then, she cut me off by reaching into her purse and pulling out a fat roll of cash. She peeled off a stack of hundreds and tossed them onto the counter like she was paying for a snack at a gas station. "Take that," she said, leaning in with a smile. "Make it happen." I didn't move. Just looked at the cash sitting there like a trap. It wasn't just arrogance. It was a bribe. A literal bribe. To commit a felony. She looked proud of herself, like she'd solved some kind of puzzle. I opened my mouth to say something, but I didn't have to. Because Daniel had seen everything. He came out from the back, walking slow, calm, the way he always did when he smelled trouble. Former military, always straight-backed, eyes sharp. You wouldn't guess he used to be a detective unless you caught him in moments like this, cool under pressure, but ready to snap if needed. He walked up behind me and picked up the stack of cash. Didn't say a word at first. Just counted it slowly. $2,000, maybe more. Then he looked right at her. Perfect, he said, voice steady. This will cover your trespassing fine. She blinked. What? Daniel leaned forward. You just offered my employee a bribe to commit tax fraud. That's a felony in the state of Florida. You're not welcome here anymore. Her whole face changed. That smug look disappeared instantly. She reached out for the money, but Daniel held it back. This is now evidence, he said. We'll be reporting this. You've made a very serious mistake. She looked between us like she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Are you kidding me? Do you know who I am? Daniel didn't flinch. We do now. You're someone who thinks rules don't apply to them. But this isn't your playground. Security had already been called. I saw Brandon and Alan coming up from the lower level escalator. She tried to grab the cash again, more desperate this time. You don't understand. My husband, he's a partner at Daniel cut her off. Then he can help you post bail. They escorted her out, heels clicking, hair bouncing, shouting something about her lawyer. I watched her through the glass doors, still ranting to no one as her Range Rover peeled out of the lot. Daniel turned to me after she was gone. You okay? I nodded. He handed me a fresh receipt roll and said, Take 5. You earned it. I took my break in the staff lounge, hands still a little shaky. I wasn't scared, more stunned. People like her don't usually get told no, and definitely not in public. Watching her get escorted out felt like watching a lioness get thrown off her own turf. But I knew something wasn't finished. And I was right. The next day, Daniel called me into the back office before my shift. He had that look again, stern, but not angry. Got something I need to show you, he said. He turned his computer screen toward me. It was a forwarded email, originally sent to our corporate HQ. Subject line, Employee misconduct, legal action pending. The name on it, Darla Kensington Wells. Apparently, that was the real name of yesterday's queen. In the email, she accused me and Daniel of public humiliation, theft of funds, and unlawful detainment. She claimed Daniel had taken her money under false pretenses and assaulted her dignity by having security escort her out in full view of other shoppers. It was a circus of lies. She's threatening to sue, Daniel said, and demanding we fire you. I sat there, stunned. But the cameras, the cash, you were right there. We've got it all, he said. But corporate's scared. People like her? They make noise. Big noise. I went back to work that day with a pit in my stomach. I felt like I was standing on a trapdoor, just waiting to fall through it. For 2 weeks, nothing happened. No word from corporate. Daniel told me not to worry, but I could tell he was dealing with pressure behind the scenes. Then I got a letter. It came in a crisp white envelope, no return address, postmarked from Palm Beach. Inside was a typed message, no greeting, no name. Next time, think twice before embarrassing people who matter. You should be very careful what you do next. That was it. No signature. No explanation. Just a threat. I showed it to Daniel. He frowned and made a copy, then quietly said, We need to talk to legal. That's when I learned something about Darla. Daniel had done some digging. She wasn't just rich. She was connected. Her husband? A senior partner at a massive real estate law firm that had contracts with several developers in the area. She sat on 3 local boards, one of which had ties to our store's parent company. And she had a history, quiet settlements, complaints against service workers, but nothing ever made it to court. Everything disappeared under money and lawyers. Daniel made a decision. He filed a formal legal report on my behalf, attaching the footage, the transaction logs, and a signed witness statement from Jamie, who'd walked in during the tail end of the scene and confirmed everything. We sent it off to our legal department and waited. 2 more weeks passed. Then, the fallout started. Daniel was suddenly reassigned to a different location. I got pulled into a surprise meeting with HR. They said, due to ongoing legal complications, My position was being reviewed. They weren't firing me, yet, but they were putting me on unpaid leave until the matter is resolved. And Darla? She was seen shopping again. In another store. Same city. Same attitude. Like nothing had happened. That was when I realized the rules were different for people like her. But I wasn't about to let this die quietly. I spent the first week of unpaid leave just pacing. Angry pacing. Thinking about every little detail. I replayed the scene over and over in my head, her tossing that cash, Daniel's voice, the way she walked out like she still owned the place. But mostly, I thought about what came after. The corporate silence. The threat letter. Daniel getting moved like some piece on a chessboard. And now me at home, broke, while Darla walked into other stores acting like she didn't almost ruin someone's job with a lie. And that's when I decided, if they wanted to play dirty, so would I. I started digging. Deep. Daniel still answered my texts, but he kept it brief. Be careful, he wrote. These people don't play fair. I knew that already. I started online. I found Darla's full name from the email. Then I found her husband, Ronald Kensington Wells. From there, it wasn't hard. A few county records, some business filings, and LinkedIn connections told me more than I ever needed to know. Her husband's firm had their hands in everything: commercial real estate, high-end condo developments, retail leasing deals, including a few tied to the very same mall where I worked. That's why they were protecting her. The store didn't want a lawsuit. They wanted her money, her husband's influence. Employees like me? We were just numbers on a spreadsheet. I took screenshots of everything. Business links. Court cases. One thing stood out: an old civil suit against the firm from 5 years ago, sealed after private arbitration. But one name in the filing matched someone I knew. Kelly. She used to work in our store 2 years back. Left suddenly. Quietly. People said she moved to Atlanta, but no one ever said why. I reached out. She didn't answer the first 2 times. But on the 3rd try, I left a message. Hey, Kelly. I think something happened to you at our old job. And I think the same people are trying to ruin me now. Please, just talk to me. She called me back the next night. I didn't leave because I wanted to, she said quietly. I left because of her. Her voice shook. She came in one day, said I scratched her bracelet. I hadn't even touched it. She screamed. Called me a thief. Said I didn't belong at a luxury store. I got written up twice that week. HR said I was creating a hostile experience. After that, they told me to resign. Kelly told me she'd tried to fight back. Even hired a lawyer. But once Darla's husband got involved, things turned ugly. Her firm sent a cease and desist. The whole thing was buried in arbitration and gag orders. She ruined my career, Kelly said. Don't let her do it to you. That was the final spark. If corporate wouldn't protect us, I'd go public. Not with a rant. With facts. I wrote everything down. Every detail. Dates, emails, names. I used a throwaway email and contacted a local reporter who ran stories about workplace abuse and corruption. I sent them everything: the video stills, the threat letter, the HR meeting summary, Kelly's testimony, with her consent. They wrote back in 2 hours. Can we talk? The reporter's name was Marcus. He met me in a coffee shop off Tamiami Trail, a quiet spot away from the mall or anything tied to our store. He brought a recorder, a notepad, and that intense look journalists get when they smell blood in the water. We talked for nearly 3 hours. I told him everything, from the moment Darla walked into the store to the day I got forced out. He listened, asked sharp questions, and took it all seriously. I gave him the evidence: the video frames, the emails, the photos of the threat letter. I didn't leave anything out, not even the parts where I froze up or doubted myself. I told him about Kelly too. He agreed to reach out to her and protect her name if needed. People like this, he said, they think no one will stand up. Let's see what happens when someone does. 2 weeks later, the article dropped. Front page of the local section in the Naples Daily News. Title: Luxury retail worker says she was targeted by elite shopper, fired for following the law. The piece hit hard. It included the store name, Darla's name, public record due to her complaint filing, her husband's ties to local development, and statements from both Kelly and Daniel. Corporate gave a weak, "We are investigating" comment. But the real fireworks came online. The article went viral on Florida Twitter. Local blogs picked it up. Then a national labor rights account tweeted it out. In 2 days, it had over 30,000 shares. People were furious. Former employees came out of the woodwork. Anonymous stories. Screenshots. One claimed Darla had tried to get them fired over a smudged mirror. Another said she'd once threatened to call IC on a Guatemalan janitor for looking at her wrong. Turns out, Darla had a pattern. And now it was all public. Corporate panicked. 3 days after the article, I got a call from HR, same woman who put me on leave. "We'd like to offer you your position back, with back pay." I asked if Daniel would be returning too. She hesitated. "We're reviewing that decision." I told her I'd think about it. Then I called Marcus. He said, "You ready for part 2? Because while the article hit hard, what happened next blew it wide open. A city council member, one who served with Darla on a nonprofit board, announced they were suspending all partnerships with her until an ethics review could be completed. Her husband's firm? They started getting heat too. A rival lawyer leaked documents showing how many contracts the firm had gotten thanks to Darla's connections. A conflict of interest complaint was filed. One big client pulled out. Within a week, Ronald Kensington Wells went on leave. Quiet, but public enough. Then the police got involved. Remember that envelope she sent me? Marcus had it tested. Turns out it had partial prints. Darla's. Combined with the security footage from the store and the false complaint she filed, she was now facing actual criminal charges, filing a false police report and attempting to interfere with a workplace investigation. I watched the news the night her mugshot dropped. Designer scarf still around her neck. No smirk this time. Daniel was reinstated within days. He called me. "You did it." "Not alone," I told him. Corporate tried to save face by offering me a new title, Loss Prevention Training Supervisor, and a $10,000 bonus to come back. I took the title, skipped the bonus, and negotiated for something better, a contract that protected employees from retaliation by customers. It passed within a month. The store was never the same. Customers still came in, but they knew. This wasn't the place to mess around. A sign went up near the entrance. Abusive staff will result in removal and reporting to law enforcement. 0 exceptions. As for Darla, she disappeared. Last I heard, she sold the house in Port Royal and moved up to Georgia. Rumor is her husband divorced her after the charges stuck. She took a plea deal and had to do probation. Some people said it was too harsh. But I remembered that envelope. That smug smile. That cash she threw like I was dirt. She thought she was untouchable. But no one is. Not when you stand your ground. Not when you've had enough. And me? I'll never forget it. Because sometimes, justice doesn't come with sirens. Sometimes it comes with silence, cameras, and one very stubborn retail worker who said, "No."